Hey guys, it's me. So, everybody and their dog on YouTube, in the gaming side of things, has done a what will be PlayStation 5. And a couple of you, a few of you, have said, look dude, where's your video? Where's your video? And I was reluctant to do one because, yeah, everybody's done it. But if you really want it, okay, here we go. Right, so let's see. Controller, I think, to be honest, could be roughly the same as this. I think they finally get the ability to turn that off, but you're going to end up with a lot of screen prompts because that VR over there, I think it's going to work with it because PlayStation ain't letting that VR go. They've kicked up the production, they've kicked up the amount of software. There might be a second VR, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years down the line, but it'll just be an upgrade model. It won't be radically different. It'll still do the same software. Might be wireless, might have better imaging, but nonetheless, so you're still going to need this. Will they upgrade Move controllers to work with PS5 better and the better, slightly improved PlayStation VR? Possibly. Will those Move sticks have analog sticks? Who could say? Be a nice idea. Probably they won't do that because it might be tricky to engineer, or maybe they'll go with some sort of touchpad on the actual stick that'll simulate the stick. But then you might keep the stick because it might be useful for you to be able to find your way to it. So you can keep it, you got the trigger there, you got the stick there, but then thankfully you'll still have the wrist strap, so that should keep everything from flying off and breaking in your telly. As far as processing goes, I imagine they'll follow a similar model to what's been already achieved, but then step up from Xbox One X, because it's always the case that it has to be more powerful. So obviously it'll be a 4K system, that's just not in doubt. But then again, 4K adoption, it's expensive, and it's generally been the case that at CES this year we were starting to see 8K tellies. They're getting ready for 8K tellies into the marketplace for normal schmoes like you and me to buy. And it's like, but does it really matter? I mean, I reckon it'll be 4K capable, but I think there's a lot of people there that just don't have 4K tellies, and it's because they're expensive. And there's gamers now are also made up of older guys like me. I'm 43, and a lot of the gamers I know are, some of them are older than me, some of them are younger than me, but we consist of a diverse range of ages, backgrounds, and sexual orientations, and so on and so forth. So not everybody is interested in going out and buying a 4K telly. And if you have games that are exclusively 4K, then can you still put those games on Blu-ray? I remember a few years ago there was a format that was invented, the disc format, that actually blew the hell out of Blu-ray, but they never went through with it because it was going to be hideously expensive. So does then that lead us in to download only? Does that lead us to a digital future, which admittedly is where most companies would like to go? They don't tell you that, but it's where they'd like to go. And the reason they'd like to go there is because it brings down costs for them. You don't got to make discs and books and stuff, and it's much easier to control the content. And once it's easy to control the content, it's easier to control what you can do with it. That's what companies do. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. But with that in mind, then that means they want to obviously have the edge. So considering Microsoft have gone, well, we're doing backwards compatibility, does that mean that PlayStation 5 would be backwards compatible? Because a great many people have said that they want backwards compatibility for the next PlayStation. And considering PS2 and PS3, so PS1 games could be played on PS2 and PS1 and 2 games could be played on a PS3 as long as it was an original 60 gigger, like yours truly has, then on you go. But of course, later PS3s, they removed that particular chipset that allowed that to happen to bring down costs. That's why a PS3 towards the end of its lifespan was so cheap. But PS4, of course, you could stick that chipset in because that would bring the price of the PS4 up considerably. However, in considering that, there is what they call it RPCS3. Now, admittedly, that's still in development, but that's some guys out there on the web who have basically made a software solution to PS3 backwards compatibility. You know, now Sony could maybe buy this or look into it and maybe make their own version, and if so, that would actually be pretty cool. Because you know, if you can backwards compat to 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you leave a disk drive in the PS5, even though it's going to end up, in my opinion, being a completely digital system, then that gives you a lot of scope. And I reckon, you know, you leave the PlayStation Now stuff because it just didn't work. I mean, how many people really use it? Tell me in the comments, do you use PlayStation Now? Do you know anybody that uses PlayStation Now? Because I don't. I know a buttload of people. Seriously, I know nobody that uses it. Nobody even talks about it. But if you know someone, let me know. Anyway, so you've got a controller that's going to remain pretty much the same in my book. You've got move controls that remain pretty much the same. We'll have the same VR setup for at least another 2 years, you know? Because how long's the VR been out? Not that long. It's been out like a year? Please. It's like you want to burn your customers and, you know, like make sure nobody ever buys a VR unit ever again. I mean, Vive has only done it because there are more PlayStation VRs than there are Vives and the other one, brain fart. Okay, the two PC VR experiences are out there right now. Oculus. The Oculus and the Vive, right? There are more PlayStation VRs in circulation than there are Vive and Oculus combined by quite some number. Right? And I even know that is with Oculus going, oh look, they've made it all like wires free and oh yeah. Let's see how that works in the home. Yeah? Test of Tomorrow's World, methinks. Oh, some of you younger ones aren't going to get that gag. Anyway, so how is the system going to look? Who cares? Seriously, it's a box. Right. Now, as it's gone, Sony sort of like made the boxes, you know, different every time. There's always had its own design flow. So I reckon what we're going to get something super minimalist, really stripped down, you know, like next to no physical controls, you know. It's like maybe a sort of small touch panel at the front for like on, off, you know, eject disc. It's pretty much like now, you know. Will they stay with physical keys? Maybe, because, you know, sometimes that's useful to actually have something that isn't capacitance based. Because I mean that's what they do when they make the machines cheaper and in their slim versions, they move away from capacitance. So maybe to keep the price down a little bit, they'll just not do capacitance at all. It's definitely food for thought in that area. So we're talking about, I think, a relatively small machine, smaller than PS4, but not as small as the original PlayStation. I reckon somewhere in between, because I want to have that. Hey, look, we got smaller, like Microsoft did. But I think it'll be still black, quite sleek, you know, very very basic shape, but elegant. I think it'll be the describing language for what they put out. So you'll have this elegant box. It may even do like wireless charging for your game controller. So you'll stick your pad on top of your system to charge your gamepad. Possibly then you'll have like, you know, wireless capabilities for headphones and stuff instead of having dongles and that. It'll be just like, it'll just know, you know, be something built in. Maybe they'll move beyond Wi-Fi. Maybe they'll figure something out, you know. Yeah, so I think, you know, 2020, that's all what I've been saying for the last few years. 2020 for PS5 sounds good. It looks good optically. There'll be decent movement in technology. It's given a good amount of time between launch of the original system, the launch of the Pro, you know. Vita will be very dead by then, regrettably so. PlayStation 3 will be very much out of the picture. I mean, it's almost out of the picture now. I think there'll be a greater emphasis on what happens with PlayStation Plus. I think that's the general shape of things. It sounds a little dark, but I think we are going to end up with some really incredible software. But I think the software market is going to change, and it's going to go as, you know, further down the discless route. I think we're going to look at more games and services, but I also think we're going to see an uptick in quality, maybe not of quantity, but in quality of single player experiences. There will obviously be greater anger based at companies for loot boxes and microtransactions and all that, but the companies will find ways to squirrel around us and, you know, make them sound attractive and change the language. And it'll happen slowly but surely, and we won't notice, but it will happen, and only older guys like me will really remember, and then still be screaming on YouTube, if it still exists, that hey, what the hell is going on? And then like Sony will probably come along and then have the video taken down, and, you know, Microsoft have the video taken down, and Nintendo will just, you know, denounce YouTube altogether. Dystopian future. Nah, I'm going a bit overboard. But yeah, changes afoot. Changes isn't so bad. Simplification. Uptick in everything. And, you know, basically, yeah, that's what I see. So take all the points I've mentioned, run with it, come back to me in 2020, see whether or not I was right, whether or not I was wrong. Anyway, that's my PlayStation 5 prediction video. I don't know if I've come out with the same stuff as everybody else, because I've not bothered watching any of those videos, because I've watched one or two, but only from people I really think, ooh, I'll see what they want to say, but I think everybody's going to come out with more or less the same stuff. Anyway, guys, as always, please remember to rate, favourite, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, I may bother.